Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. I'm back at home, and it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, April 3rd, 2023. We've made it to April, and it's starting to actually feel like spring, guys. Oh, I'm so happy for it, but I am pretty tired because I just got back from DC running the Cherry Blossom 10 mile, and we can kind of do a race recap if you guys want to talk about that today. But since it's also Monday, I know a lot of you guys raced. I want to talk about any of the races that you guys did or any of the long runs you guys had over the weekend too. But before we get to that, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast and the audio only version. Guys, tax day is coming up. So I know you're listening to this while you're finishing up those taxes because you are listening to the number one running podcast to have on in the background while you're doing your taxes. So welcome to you guys, and hopefully the number crunching goes well. And for everyone else watching this on YouTube later, but after the fact, we're also the number one running podcast to listen to while folding your laundry. Although that competition I feel like is a little bit more stiff, but there's just more, it's more competition in that space. So, sometimes we're not number one, but it's always kind of like jockeying for position, but we'll get there. We strive for it. We strive for that excellence. All right, let's see who we got in the chat here today. Kevin Bandy says, yo. And Mark Peterson says, happy 2 weeks till Boston Day. Is my weather app finally shows a projection for race day. Oh boy, I don't know if I want to read the rest of this. It says partly cloudy, 63 high and 50 low. I'll take it. Oh, but which way is the wind, Mark? Which way is the wind? I love that. That sounds like good racing conditions for me. I know people think that 50 degrees to start is a little bit on the warm side, and I agree that it is, but I'd rather be a touch warm. I like those numbers. I like those odds. Give me those any day. Sean Devlin says, hey, everyone, ran 18 this weekend, and injuries were non-factors, and hamstrings improving. Awesome. No, that's the button I want. Yeah. All right. And he says he's feeling kind of ready. All right. Well, I mean, that's how anyone ever feels, All right. Super Engine wants to know, for the other lowly slow runners just watching Boston instead of running it, where are you streaming it? Last year I streamed in Peacock, but not sure if that's an option this year. I mean, I think it's an NBC Sports stream, so it's going to be an NBC product. Other than that, I'm not sure. I don't know. All right. Frank says, 2 weeks. I'm convinced that Co is secretly planning for 353, 354. I love that optimism, Frank. But no, I don't think that's what I'm going to be gunning for. I think the plan that we came up with a couple like last week is the one that's going to work well for me. I talked to a couple more people over the weekend, kind of running this idea by them, and they kind of think that it makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to start out with the 355 group. Tony, are you here? Tony Macias. I think Tony's looking to start at 255. And then whenever the going gets rough, I'm just going to chill and let everyone go. And then we'll see where we end up. I feel like if I could have a sub 3 day, I'm going to be extremely happy about it. And so like that gives me a lot of wiggle room. I don't know that I'm in 255 shape, maybe 256 high, which is what I ran in Tokyo, is the best that I can do, but I'll go out at like 255 pace, I think, and then we'll see where we end up. So that's kind of the plan. I don't have secret fitness. You guys know what I'm doing. So that's what's going on. Super Engine says, I ran Goldie's 10-mile run in Minneapolis yesterday and PR'd. Awesome. Yeah. And he said, my goal was under 125 and I ran a 124.45. Excellent work. Did you see Ben Johnson out there? I think that's the race he ran, right? I think he came in 9th. Super speedy. And so is your 124.45. Great job. That's awesome. It was nasty conditions though, too. So yeah. Yeah, that was nasty conditions. So good job out there. All right. Mark Peterson said, never mind about the weather. So maybe the weather already changed. I have a feeling it's going to change a lot. So I'm not going to start looking at it yet. Maybe I'll start looking at it in maybe in a week as I get closer to having to actually pack. All right. See who else we have in the chat here. JC had a 5-mile race on Saturday and ran at marathon pace. It's kind of relaxing. Yeah, good job. That's awesome. I also ran the Cherry Blossom 10-mile at marathon effort, and or what I thought should have been marathon effort, for kind of like a race-ish day. So like actually a little bit faster than marathon effort. So I was hoping for like 6:30 to 6:40. 6:40 is like 2:55 pace. And so I was kind of hoping for that. The first 5K was super congested. And so that was really hard to kind of navigate around. And then the second 5K things, finally, I was able to find a rhythm. I think that was my best 5K of the 3. Third 5K, I was starting to get tired, and we got a huge headwind on the tail on the turn. Like at mile 8, you go down this peninsula, and there's a group of people that just love giving away Oreos and beer. And so they just have a table there every year at that point. There's a turnaround point. And once you turn around, I didn't stop for Oreos and beer. I wanted to, but I didn't. Maybe one year I will, but not this year. As I turned around, like the wind just hit you in the face, and it was just sustained, tough wind. I ended up running most of the race with Chris Chung, C Chungy on Instagram. And we were working with each other for sure. And but there were parts on that headwind where I was like, I'm gonna let him go ahead. There were times where he was feeling good, times when I was feeling good. So we did take turns a little bit, but there was definitely times where I'm like, I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna let him go ahead of me a little bit and let him block some of the wind. But you know, it was one of those kind of side headwinds, so it didn't matter like where you stood behind someone, unless you had like a giant pack, which we didn't. Unless you had a big pack, like it was really hard. We ended up having like 3 or 4 people that kind of ran really close with us for a while. Probably like 5 or 6 people total. And then every once in a while, like some people would come in and come out of the group. But there was a good stretch of us for like maybe the last 5K. So it was really fun race to be able to run. So I had a good time. I could not get Gatorade. Not that you really need it at a 10-mile race when it's cold. But I tried to get Gatorade at one of the aid stations, and it was just so congested. It's a congested race. Not so much that you can't run fast, but like you're around people the entire time, which is nice too, especially on a windy day. But it was a tough race, and I feel like that felt harder than 10 miles at marathon pace should kind of feel, or at least this morning I feel like that felt harder than 10 miles at marathon pace should feel. But I don't know. Maybe I'm exactly where I'm exactly where I need to be. I did a lot of hill work the last like 2 weeks, so I'm like, I think I'm okay. But yeah, it wasn't as relaxing. To go back to JC's comment, like in my marathon effort miles were not as relaxing as I kind of hoped that they were going to be. Richard Wilson says, I did a 25K trail on Saturday, and I didn't know the results at the time. And on Sunday, I found out I was 3rd overall. Yeah. Congratulations, Richard. That's amazing. Very cool. Nice. Man, that's good work. I'm already like, I'm trying not to, but I'm like already like looking ahead a little bit to like after Boston for like summer running. And I think I'm going to do a lot more trail running. I don't know if I'll do any races, but I think I'm do a lot more kind of like, you know, morning long adventures kind of thing. And I'm really looking forward to it. Mondelos Reyes says, I ran Revel. How do you say that? REV, like Revel. Like I revel in it. I cherish it. I relish it. Revel. I ran Revel, Mountain Charleston half. I did not have my goal time, but I hit a huge 40. What? A 40-minute PR. That is incredible. Wow. That's what were you shooting for? And you still didn't get your goal, but you got a 40-minute PR? That's crazy. All right, Frank giving us the results from the Brighton Marathon and said YouTube had a terrible Brighton Marathon. Here we are running. It was a DNS. Oh, Ed Bud was a DNF. Oh boy. And that running guy missed all his targets. Oh man. That's a 0 for 3. I'm gonna have to follow up with those guys. What happened? All right. Well, I'll just watch their race recaps. Oh, I didn't realize all 3 of those guys were running in that race. Steven C says, yo. Luis Becerra says, yo, what's going on? And Vincent Bevilacqua says, live stream LFG with 3 muscle emojis. Nice. CS says, what up, Co? I completed my first marathon yesterday, 3:51. Yeah. He says, Co or anyone have any recovery tips? I've been hobbling around all day. Well, I would say kind of walk around a lot, not to the point where it hurts, but like, get up a little bit more frequently during the day and just find a reason to walk a little bit more than usual, get like the blood flowing. That's kind of be a good thing to do. If you got, like a massage gun or something, or rollers, kind of like, I don't like to go too deep tissue massage right after a marathon and I'm like really hurting. But like just kind of like lightly massage those areas so that way your body can like kind of feel the soreness, and like those are signals that your body uses to be like, oh, we got to do something about that. So like if you're too comfortable for too long, I feel like that you're not recovering as fast as you can. You got to kind of be uncomfortable a little bit. You know how things like sore hurt, when you're sore, it hurts in a good way. You got to get more of that hurts in a good way, like just gently throughout the day, just more kind of like encouragement for your body to recover. I don't know if that's physiologically accurate, but that's kind of how I feel about it. It seems to work for me. All right. Let me scroll down to the bottom and catch up with you guys. Let's see. That running guy's here. He says thighs are broken today. Oh man. Oh, sorry to hear that, man. Sorry to hear about that. April Fletcher says, hello, was great meeting at the Cherry Blossom Shakeout and hope you enjoyed the 10 miler. I was freezing handing out Gatorade at the first water stop. Oh, I can't imagine. It was so cold. So oh my goodness, April, it was great to meet you. I'm putting together the Runners Weekend video now, and I'm at the point where we're at the Shakeout run, and like it just poured rain on us the entire time. And the thing is, it didn't rain that hard that day, except for like the 30 minutes that we were out there running. And then afterwards, maybe like an hour after the run, it was sunny and like 70 degrees. It got hot and humid. And so it was like just such a bizarre kind of day. And then overnight, storms came in, or like a cold front came in, and it was so cold. Yeah, I didn't want any water or Gatorade at the first aid station because I'm like, I'm so cold. So like I didn't bring a throwaway layer for the race. Because I was thinking, we're just gonna do some warm-up miles and we're just gonna run to the race. And last year it was chilly, but it wasn't that cold. I'll be fine. And then I was looking at the temperatures and I'm like, oh, 40 degrees. I think I'll be okay. I can hang out for a little bit in those temps and I'll be okay in a singlet and half tights. I do 3 miles of just to tack on some extra miles because everyone I was with is Boston training. So I tack on some extra miles with Megan, with Thomas. Who else came? Did Brandon come with us? I can't remember if Brandon. I don't know if Brandon came with us. But there are a handful of us that went, small group. And for that, I had a sweatshirt and like track pants on top of my race kit. And by the end, I'm like, I'm a little bit sweaty. So like maybe I've dressed correctly. And then we get back to the hotel because then we're going to meet up with some other people before we head over to the race. And then I'm like, I don't know. That wind is cold. And so I end up changing. I had done my flat lay. I had kind of like filmed everything that I was going to be wearing. And I kind of changed everything. I mean, the shoes and the hat were still the same and I'm still wearing gloves. But like the singlet, I switched out for a t-shirt. And then the half tights I switched out for 2-in-1 shorts that I had, which had better pockets anyway. And so like I did that. And then I also decided I was going to bring a throwaway layer, but to bring it back around, I did not have a throwaway layer that I brought with me. But what I did bring was like a button-up shirt. Because like sometimes like for trips like this, we'll go out to like just eat. And other times we'll go to like kind of a regular restaurant where no one's going to be mad if I show up in running clothes. And then other times, like sometimes it's like a nice restaurant. Last year for Cherry Blossom 10 miler, like there was other journalists and stuff. And we went to like people I didn't know. And like they went to like a nice restaurant, like had to have a reservation and stuff. And I was there in running clothes and I felt a little bit out of place. So I brought like a button-up shirt. I only have like 2 left. Other than if you don't count the rabbit ones, I only have like 2 left from my like working days. And I'm like, well, I'll just wear this. So I have like a button-up shirt. It's not super nice. It's from Uniqlo. It's not super nice, but I'm wearing it and I'm using that as my throwaway layer. And the race is about to start, and I'm like, I still don't want to take this off. So I've got like a button-up shirt open so you can see my bib, but I'm running with like a button-up shirt on top of a t-shirt and a racing bib. And I ran like that for a good 4 miles, like almost half the race. Cause I'm like, I do not want to take it off until I started feeling like my elbows, like right here, the pit of my elbow, starting to get a little bit clammy in the long sleeve shirt. Then I was like, okay, I can take this off now. But I still had like a t-shirt on underneath. So I was like, I was just so cold. And like every time I passed the aid station, I was just like, oh, they're getting water spilled all over them every single time. It's got to be miserably cold. So thank you for everyone that volunteered at those aid stations. Oh my goodness. James says, first time caller, long time listener, just popping my head in during work and throwing thoughts out there for Ed Bud. Whatever happened, that sucks. Yeah, does anyone know? Has what happened? What happened with that DNF? Calvin says a button up as a throwaway is a wild concept. I'm not the only one that did that though. I saw a couple other people like that, and I've seen people do it before, so it's not like it was a completely new concept for me. But I really think that I might start doing that because it's easy. Because then it's like it's a button up, and then you don't have to take off your hat to get it off and stuff. So, and Frank says actually thrift store flannel sounds like a good idea for a throwaway layer. Yeah, because what I've been doing is I would go on Amazon and buy like Hanes zip up hoodies. They're super thin, but they're like $20. So I'll buy that and throw them away, as a throwaway layer because it's black. There's no logo on it, so whatever race I'm doing, it doesn't matter. But I'm like, a button up was just as warm, really. Ooh, okay. Sean says, Ed said he hit a pothole and his hip was not feeling that good after. Oh, boy. Yeah, Louis says also that he hit a pothole and messed up his hip, so he had to go out. Louis says, if he trained here with me, he would be more prepared in Tijuana. Oh, man. And that running guy says, the wheels fell off at 18 miles for him. The Rebellion Pros killed my hips and thighs. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't think that's an easy shoe to run in. I mean, if you can master it, it's a lot of fun. I don't know that I can master it, but it's a fun shoe. But yeah, I could see that happening. Oh boy. Steven C said I got an injury due to a pothole. I don't think he talked about it much, but I don't know if I could share that. I think it's okay to share it. I don't know. It's not my story. I have a story about another athlete who said that he hit a pothole in a race, but he didn't mention it in any of his post-race interviews and stuff. So like he mentioned it to me, like, and a couple other people at dinner one time. So I don't know. I won't tell you that story, but it's not an uncommon thing. Scott Chatster says, Heiko ran the Mount Charleston Marathon over the weekend and got an almost 10-minute PR. Awesome. Yeah. And broke 3 hours and qualified for Boston. What a day. That is a great day, Scott. He said, your video about the marathon asking how bad do you want it got me through. Thanks. Awesome. That's so cool, Scott. Oh, man. Congratulations. That's great to hear. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about that a lot. It's just like you got to, like, your mind's got to be quiet enough to hear that and have that conversation. Because for me, a lot of marathons, I was just so frantic that like the race would be over and I was like, oh, I didn't rely on any of my mantras. I forgot, And so like it takes a lot to even be able to ask yourself that question, And then once you do, the answer is easy. You're like, yes, Awesome. Awesome work. Richard Wilson says, I make a throwaway out of a foil emergency blanket and a couple of clips. I always save all my throwaway foil blankets, and then I just have a collection of them. They're like a little bit gross because it's not like I cleaned them or anything afterwards, but they don't ever smell bad. Every once in a while, I'll like check. I'm like, are these getting moldy? They're not. But I always just feel like, I don't know. I like the throwaway layer, but they're never that warm. I'd rather have like cotton for a warm up layer, I guess. That's what I'm thinking. Adrian All says the Hyperion Max is my new favorite daily trainer. Nice. I haven't run in that one basically since the review, unfortunately. I think I'll log more miles in it probably after Boston. It is a good shoe. By the way, today, guys, I'm drinking microwaved coffee because I made coffee in the morning, and then um, I've been making coffee in the coffee press, and so that way, like, it takes more work because you got to grind the beans and steep the coffee and stuff. But my wife likes it, so like I've been making a coffee press, and I'll put some in my cup and make her a cup in the morning. But to this morning, I just had like a regular K cup coffee first, and so I didn't drink all of like the coffee press coffee. So before the live stream, there's like half a coffee press full of coffee. So I wanted to drink it, but it was cold already. So I microwaved it. And I gotta tell you, microwaving coffee is sad. My wife does it all the time. My in-laws do it all the time. I just think it's gross. I should have just made more coffee. Kevin Bandy says, "Are you going to cut your hair short again?" I don't know about short. I am going to get a haircut soon. I got to get on that. There's a lot of things that I keep meaning to schedule that I haven't been scheduling. But I want to get a haircut. It's a little bit too long for me right now. Master Runner says, "For throwaway layers, I just go shopping at Goodwill and buy a bunch of sweatshirts and sweatpants. I just always forget, I never have time." Clifton says, "Yo, popping in to get my daily dose of co before I do some core work and head out for a short, easy run. Hope all is good." Well, welcome. Man, you're so responsible. Core work, easy run. Nice. Sega Dreamcast says, "Metals go in trash, blankets gimme." That's true. One of the things I enjoy about the Cherry Blossom 10 mile is that like you have to elect to get a medal and you have to choose to get, you have to choose for that and you have to choose to get a t-shirt. And so I just say no to both of them. And it's nice because then there's no weight. I don't feel bad about throwing something away, you know? Because I will throw away a medal, but for some reason, if there's a space blanket after a race, I will keep it. Srini Vayapuri says, "Hey, any plans to run the Detroit Marathon in the future?" I don't the Free Press Marathon. I don't really have any plans for that. I don't want to run in the tunnel underground. I don't know what it is about that I just don't want to do that. And I think it's kind of hilly too, right? I mean, you run to Canada and back, right? But then like, I feel like it's going to be windy when you're by the water, and then you got to go underground. It's just a lot. I don't know. Calvin said, "Some of the runners in your Tokyo video had some interesting choices of warm layers and wore them for a while. One person had their arms tucked in while running." Yeah, Tokyo was cold in the morning. Probably, I don't know if it was colder than yesterday. I think yesterday was a little bit cold. I was shivering. I just couldn't stay. And I had, 2-in-1 shorts and a t-shirt rather than a singlet and half tights. So like I had a little bit more, nominally just a little bit more clothing on, but I was like shivering. I couldn't, like I was crouching down low to the ground to avoid wind, you know. Ugh. Roselski says, "Hey Mike, I was at the Cherry Blossom run yesterday, and my wife, who is not a runner, was trying to follow me around the course on a scooter. She has seen only one of your videos a long time ago, but then after the race, she asked me, 'By the way, was that guy Mike here? I saw a guy holding a selfie stick who looked like him.'" Yeah, I was there. She probably saw me. I'm trying to think. I don't think I saw any people on scooters out there yesterday. Um, hmm. Yeah, I don't think I saw her. I did see as I was coming to the finish, um, there's like a woman and her two kids. She had sent me a picture the night before of her kids making a sign for me, and then I saw the sign like at the top of the hill right before the finish, and I was super excited to see them. But then after the race, she sent me a picture of one of her kids, like super like sad because he thought that I was gonna give a high five, and I didn't see them quick enough to to get over to give a high five. I was in the middle of the road, and they were like on the side, If I was close enough to give him a high five, I would have given him a high five. But I felt bad that I didn't give him a high five, and he was sad about it. Because I'm like, that kid probably was like, the only reason I'm coming out in this cold weather is so a YouTuber gives me a high five. I felt so bad. Oh man. Mm, uh, what's this? JXNAZ. Janax? Is that what it is? Janax? I'm gonna say it's Janax. Says, have you ever run Hamburg or Berlin Marathon? If not, do you want to run them in the future? I do want to run Berlin. Hopefully, if all goes well, Berlin will be my 6th star. And hopefully for 2024. That's my goal. I would love that for that to happen that way. So we'll see. So Boston will be in 2 weeks. And hopefully I'll be able to finish and not get disqualified. And then hopefully I can find a way to run London and Berlin next year. And then those will be my 6 stars. All right, let me keep scrolling down. Rigresco wants to know, guys, you know how tall Co is? I'm 5'10". I'm like, I was 5'10" and change, but I'm guessing I probably have shrank a little bit by now. So. Shekat says, Yoko, happy Monday. Are you excited for Boston coming up? I'm excited to rest a little bit and taper before Boston. Just because, like, just got back from a trip. Like, I probably should have done an unboxing today, but we're doing like the Cherry Blossom recap. Because I got like a pile of boxes and stuff here. And so like, and I still have to like do some B-roll because I want to run in some other shoes that I already did unbox. I haven't run in them yet. So I'm feeling like a little bit behind. Every time I go on a trip, I feel a little bit behind. And by the way, I did lose something again on this trip. There is like a green and white Asics jacket that I got. It's part of like the world. It's like the team World Athletics kit for like the Asics kit. And I have one. Well, I used to have one, but I left it at the hotel. It was hanging on the door because it rained for the shakeout run. And then I was hanging on the door where the towels go and then letting it dry out. And then I think I just opened the bathroom door and then the door closed. You know what I mean? I couldn't see it anymore. And then I packed all my clothes and I left. And then this morning I was like, I don't think I packed that jacket. And then I looked back in my suitcase and I'm like, nope, didn't pack the jacket. So it'll be interesting to see what I lose in Boston. I don't know. I think I have to bring a lot of stuff. I might bring 2 suitcases just because I got a lot of events going on with different brands. So I'm like, I'm going to lose something. I don't know. Calvin says, thoughts on Cherry Blossom bibs having personal info so prominent? Felt like that was kind of an oversight, assuming people post pics. Yeah, I think that is not a great idea. So like the thing that Calvin's talking about is when I did my flat lay, I'm looking at it, I'm editing this video, and I'm like, oh, my wife's name and her phone number are printed on the front of my bib because it had like your information, your like, there's all this information at the bottom. It was like what event you were doing, whether or not you got a medal, whether or not you got a shirt, all this stuff. And then also your emergency contact information. And I'm like, usually that stuff's on the back of a bib. And if people are going to do flat lays, if they're not paying close attention, they're accidentally going to show everyone their emergency contact's name and phone number information. Which I'm like, it's not like, I don't know. Can you steal an identity off of those 2 pieces of information? I don't know. But it's just like, I know that would make my wife upset if I was like, whoops, I put your cell phone number on the internet, And then I saw some pros post their bibs and I was like, hopefully someone will tell them that they should take that down and repost it, fold that part over kind of thing. So I don't like that. Here's why I especially don't like it. Because you know what is on the back of the bib? There's a space for like emergency, like medical contact information. So let's say I passed out and you don't know why I'm passed out on the side of the road or whatever. Maybe I'm having an anaphylactic reaction to something, right? Sure, you want quick access to to my emergency contact, great, it's right on the front. You still have to turn my bib over to see what I'm allergic to, you know, or like I don't know, just like there's still some really important emergency information that they've relegated to the back. Keep it all in the back. That's where it goes. I don't know. I'm not like super mad about it, but I'm like, I feel like it was not thought through. Mike Stadelman says, look at this picture. That's a cute picture. I love these like light beams that are in the background of that photo. It's great. Mike Stadelman says, hey, Mike, congratulations on the Cherry Blossom 10 mile. It was a great day. By the way, can't wait for the Cumulus 25 review at some point. You know, I don't have a pair of Cumulus 25s yet. My Asics contact person was like, yeah, when we were in Tokyo, he was like, I got a pair for you. I'm going to send it to you as soon as I get back to the office. And then I got to follow up because he hasn't sent it to me yet. But he was just in Paris for the Paris Marathon. So I'm guessing that I just kind of fell through the cracks on that one. Or maybe they needed to give it to someone else in Paris. I don't know. But either way, I'm sure I'll get to it soon. I just don't have it yet. So I saw a lot of people wearing them because hanging out with all Asics people over the weekend, and it looks great. If you like the Nimbus 25 look, but you're like, it's kind of a little bit too bulky, the Cumulus 25 looks amazing. It's like similar styling, but not as like bulbous, Frank says, have you figured out anything about the BA and YouTubing yet? Just going to risk the banning? Yeah, Thomas and I had a question about it. He's like, what are you going to do? You're just going to burn the bridge? I'm like, there's not really a bridge there. Like, I've tried reaching out to them. They don't ever respond. I'm sure they're not going to like it. So hopefully I won't get... Because, I mean, like, I don't want to play the game of there are other channels that have done similar, but there are. And not just foreign channels either. Large American running channels have content about it too. So I feel like maybe they secured a license to be able to do that. I don't know. I'd love to be able to secure a license too. But I don't know. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to do my thing. And, I think that, I don't know. I'm just going to do it. That's how I do it. Resilient Dad wants to know, I'm running San Francisco Marathon in July. Will you be there? Probably not. That's going to be that's a hilly one, isn't it? Man, that's hard. Duke BB22 says, I'm going to book Co's room after he's been in Boston for the hotel. Feel like I could pick up some merch that way. Maybe. Or camera equipment. Who knows? Matthias Ventus says, be careful they are listening. I don't think that the BA is listening to anything that I do. I think that the BA has many more other things that they would rather do than listen to this. I'm not sure that the BAA likes YouTube or YouTubers. That would be my gut. If I can, like, I know, like, the BAA is an organization, and an organization is people, and people have varying opinions. But if I were to venture a guess, I would guess that the culture is one of, like, we are a serious race, like in serious race, like we are a serious race, and like this YouTubing business, I don't understand this, and I don't like it. It's my general gut sensation of it. So I don't know. All right, Steve says, I wouldn't normally double comment the same thing, but saying 18 months to PR in a 10K race. Awesome. Sorry I missed it earlier, but congratulations. It's all about the cowbell. Well, great job. 18 months. That's a lot of work. Congratulations on that PR. Smalls, what's going on? He says, hey, are you looking forward to meeting Kipchoge in Boston? I figure you would have got a chance at getting some FaceTime with him. No, I'm not going to be able to meet Kipchoge in Boston. I don't think he got time for me. Because I don't really do a lot of work with any of the, because I don't think he's going to do a single thing outside of his like minimum contractual obligations, which he shouldn't, because he's a world-class marathoner and he's trying to win this thing, so like he shouldn't be like hanging out, you know what I mean? So I don't think so. Like, I remember for New York, I remember people were telling me that like Like there was supposed to be a shakeout run with Kipchoge at some place in New York, and like it was supposed to start at 9, and like so many people showed up, they couldn't figure out what to do until like 11 of like how do we make this event happen, you know? So like people were there for like 4 hours total on the day, and like most people just you don't actually get to run with Kipchoge, you know what I mean? So like if that's how it was in New York, can you imagine how it's going to be for Boston if Kipchoge does anything? So like I'm not I don't sense that I have the kind of pull to be able to get any FaceTime with the goat. You know what I mean? All right. What matters to Matt says I ran a 135 half marathon time trial this past weekend with a marathon in May. Is sub 330 possible in the marathon? My gut says yes. So, like people say, like, the like a general, back of the napkin math is twice your half marathon plus 10, right? So if we were doing that roughly, that gives you like 210 plus 10 is 220 or 320, So like, I think it is. Yeah. So I would feel pretty good about that. The tricky thing with time trials though is that like, for example, like my Cherry Blossom 10 mile, my Garmin gave me 10.15 miles for it. So there's always like a little bit extra you got to tack on to that. And then there's also kind of like race tactics and stuff like that. Like if it's not tactics, but like logistics, like is it crowded and things like that. So, I think it's possible for sure, but I don't think it's, it's within the realm, I would say. But there's always a lot of factors that goes into it. Keep training. You got some time left to put in some real good work. So you might need to adjust that goal a little bit, but I would feel pretty good about it. Kevin Chan says, "Hey, go a little late to the stream. Hope you had a great time at Cherry Blossom." I did. I had a good time there. I like Washington D.C. I've been there many times for work and to run now, and it's just always good. Just a lot of great people to run with. A lot of people and a lot of great routes too. So I don't vary the routes too much, because I just like running by like all the big monuments around the National Mall, that kind of thing. And so, yeah. Kenneth says, "This is the BA police. We are watching you." Yeah, I think you guys are maybe overthinking it because I don't think that they're watching. I think that they'll look at stuff afterwards and then send nasty emails later. Stephen Lung says he was at the Kipchoge event. It was not great. He says, "I left after waiting for 45 minutes." Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing people, they were like, "Oh, it was a disaster." But, now they had one like that. And so, like, hopefully they can prepare a little bit better for it or just not do one, Because, like, I feel like if you're going to draw as many people as he would, like, I don't think you could do a shakeout run. You could do, like, a meet and greet, or you could do, like, come sit in this auditorium and I'll talk to you guys for 30 minutes, That's about, like, I think that's what you have to do once you get to be, like, I just don't think that Kipchoge can do group runs. Calvin says, how was running with Chris Chung? Was he talkative or did he need encouragement? He didn't need encouragement. He was doing great. But he was not that chatty. I'm always the chatty one. And so like I don't know, like we didn't talk about it ahead of time. I mean, we had mentioned that like he was thinking that he was gonna go out for like 67. And I think I finished at 67 on the dot, which is frustrating. 107.00. I think he came in because I think he started further back than me. I don't remember where he was. I was like by myself at the start for some reason. We were all waiting together, and then the next thing I know, I'm by myself. So he came in at like 66:20 or 66:30 or something like that, if I remember correctly. So he had a faster time than me. But we finished at like almost the exact same time. He charged up the hill though. He was strong up the hill. I was like, "Go get it, Chris. Go run up the hill," And he did it. He was super fast up the hill. But we were running together the most of the time. And then for me, it was maybe more like half marathon-ish pace for me. Slash marathon, in between half marathon and marathon pace for me. So I was able to be a little bit more chatty. And so I was a little bit chatty. Chris didn't say very much. I don't know if he's normally like that on the. I'm not. He came to the shakeout, but I didn't get a chance to really run with them. I'm trying to think. I don't think that I've actually like. I've not gone like on a longer run with him before, so I don't know if he's normally that way. You know. Mark Peters gives the advice to say, call the video going for a long run to Massachusetts on Patriots Day or something. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work either. I think well, I mean, here's the thing. If they don't find it, that means that the video is not doing very well. So, yeah. I'm really quite nervous about it overall. Because I don't like to break the rules. I don't like to have to be sneaky. So it's like I don't enjoy these things, but this is just what I do. And so, like, if it's their race. They can do what they want to me, I guess. And if they don't want to let me run, they don't have to do that either, I suppose. All right. Luke Klein says, Chungy says he caught you at mile 1.5. Okay. So he must have been behind me. That's why he has like 30 seconds. He must have been 30 seconds behind me in the start. And then he found me at 1.5 miles. That sounds about right. That first mile was hectic. For whatever reason, this happened last year too, but there's Capitol Police that have their vehicles on the road that's in the course. And like I don't know why they don't clear those cars from the course, but there's there's a Ford Explorer that's always like in the middle of the course. This year there was 2, and it's at the most congested part of the course. And like this year, the second one was slowly moving, so it was driving on the course as people are like jumping up on the grass. And then there's fencing, so you can't really get on the grass. I don't know. I don't know why they do that. Like the first mile is just very crowded for that race. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just where I am. Like I was toward the front this year, which was I'm like, I don't think I'm too far forward. This isn't right. But no one like zoomed by me, so I'm like, I think I'm in the right spot. I'm like, but there's a lot of people here. There's so many people here, and like it never like it took like more than 5K for me to feel like I could stretch my legs. Josh Sudharma says, any recommendations for an easy-ish first marathon? Thinking about CIM in Sacramento this coming December. CIM is a fun one because it's relatively easy to get into, but it's easy-ish. Yeah, it's an easy-ish. I don't say it's an easier one. I would say Grandma's is easier than CIM, but that's hard to get. It's already sold out. It's in June, and it's harder to get into. Chicago is not that easy to get into. Easy for a world major. I think it's the easiest of the majors to get into, but that's a great easy-ish first marathon. I like that one too. And then the other ones that you can look at are like usually like most, I think in Illinois, there's a race that's called like the Last Chance BQ. It's like a 2-loop course. You do the loop twice, and it's almost like pancake flat. And you can you can set up like stuff on like a table for yourself. It's really low key, but like it's for running, so you can get that BQ that you want. There might be something like that in your region too. I would like kind of look up like do a search for like BQ races or popular BQ race in your region. Christine Zlowski says, do you consider yourself an extrovert? You're so good about socializing with other runners and viewers at events. I'm very much an introvert. And so like socializing with people at events is exciting and it's fun and I really do enjoy it. But like I think of it as like I don't think extroversion, introversion as like shy, but it's like for my wife, if she's had a long day and she's tired, like if she can sit down and chat with like friends or her family, that is what she needs to relax. But like when I had like a regular job and I was like talking to people and in stressful work situations all day, when I get home, I was like she kind of figured out that like it's really hard for me to have like a conversation. So she'd be like, "How was your day? Tell me about your day. I want to tell you about my day." And she wanted to chat, and I'm like, I want to chat, but I like need a minute, you know." So I think the closest thing that I can say is like I remember there was a Nobody Asked Us, Des Linden and Kara Goucher's podcast. They had a conversation about it, and they're both pretty strong introverts, and like Des is like, after an event, she's just like, nobody talk to me. I need to go sit in my hotel room, you know? And then Kara was like, when she does like some of these like work trips when she's announcing, they'll have a full calendar planned out for them. They're, rehearsing in the morning, then they're calling the event. And then afterwards, like they'll get together and have dinner. And she's like, nope, I already ordered Uber Eats and it's in my hotel. I'm leaving, and so she'll like skip out on dinner sometimes because she needs to like recharge, and that's kind of I feel like how I am. So I do love meeting people. It's not, don't get me wrong, but like when it's like, when like the selfie line is done, then I'm like, oh, I need to eat something. I would like a pizza, and then maybe like a minute to just sit in the bed and look at my phone. So that's how I feel like about it sometimes. All right. Endospeed 3 or Sky Plus for an upcoming half this weekend will probably also be my fall marathon racer, aiming for sub 125 or 305. I mean, I would go with the Sky Plus. The Endospeed 3 didn't agree with me, you know. So like the Sky Plus, like there's something about like the shaping of the shoe. It just kept I like the foam. I like the dynamics of it, but after even a short while, it just felt like it was poking my foot funny, and I just couldn't deal with it. The Sky Plus, there's something about that shoe too, where I've noticed that like if I run in it like frequently, it might give me a little bit of that, but not like it doesn't. I'm like, it gets me to the point where I'm like, oh, is my foot thing happening? But it never becomes it. But I kind of feel, oh, I think it's happening. But the endo speed, like instantly, it makes me do that, like within 3 miles. So like I don't love that shoe, but for a lot of people it works. And I do like it for faster than slower. Some people use it as an everyday trainer, but I'm like, have you tried doing like 5K pace repeats in it? It's actually really kind of nice for that. So both are good, but for the faster you're going, I don't know. I think I would like the Sky Plus. It just feels speedier. I like the response of it, especially when you're tired. You could feel the pop. You know, that's what I like about it. Kevin Chan says, when you film at events, do you turn the GoPro on and off between filming or keep it on standby? I do quick capture. So like you hit the button, it takes a little bit longer because you're turning it on and then recording. But then when you hit it again, it turns the camera off. So it's off in between. Rajkumar Roshinji says, thoughts on Metaspeed Edge versus Metaspeed Sky for Cherry Blossom? Thanks. I think I would have preferred to have been in the Metaspeed Sky Plus. At 10 miles, it's more like a half marathon than it is like a 10K, but like I wasn't sure if I was going to run more thresholdy for the Cherry Blossom or if I was going to run more marathon pace or half marathon pace, you know? And so like if I was going to go threshold pace and try to hit like closer to like 62, 63, then I feel like the Edge Plus might have been the better shoe. But I ended up shooting for like 65, closer to 68. I hit 67. And I feel like the Sky Plus probably would have been a little bit better for it, at least for my foot strike and how I like shoes. I just feel like the Edge, I don't quite get as much bounciness to it, and it feels a little bit more dense. So it's not as forgiving. And today my legs feel pretty beat up, So. Alex Herman says, not to sound naive, but what rules are being broken at Boston? I'm bringing a camera. I'm not supposed to do that. Let's see. Time to Run says that PDX is a flight easy course. Is it? I wouldn't think so. Portland is a hilly place. Wait, although isn't that where they did that? Where Des made that set the 50K record, right? Isn't that it? Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look at that. Tony Vu says, I mean, the rules usually don't allow earbuds either, but everyone wears it. That's also true. Rules typically also don't allow hydration packs, but people bring them. You know, they can enforce or not enforce whatever rules that they want. It's their race. They could do it, you know. So that's their prerogative. Mm-hmm. Graham Parker says, I went for my first run in the Nova Blast during my lunch hour and felt great for the first mile. And then my calf was screaming. Wanted the shoe to work, but not for me, apparently. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Graham, what are you running in instead? Like, what is your normal like go-to shoe? Because I'll hear that from time to time, but I'm trying to see if there's like I'm trying to see if there's like patterns, so that way I can make better recommendations. Oh, I love this shoe, but if you tend to like these other shoes, you might not like this one, that kind of thing. But let me know. Adrian M says, race the endorphin elites, and they were and put 5 fire emojis. They're quintuple fire. 5 fire. Nice. I do like that shoe. And Stephen Lung says he picked up the Vaporfly 3s for around $130. He had a coupon code and cashback. That's nice. I'm surprised that they let you use the coupon code for that. Danny Tran says, do you think the Asics Gel Nimbus is the most comfy running shoe on the market? Comfortable? Yeah. I don't know that it's, I still think that the Fresh Foam More version 4 is a better max cushion shoe than the Nimbus 25. But like, I love walking around in the Nimbus 25. I love running in the Nimbus 25. It's a very comfy shoe. I like traveling in the Nimbus 20. You know what I mean? I think Nimbus 25 is a better casual shoe to wear around, and I think it looks better than the More version 4. But for like a max cushion running shoe, both are really good. But like the More version 4 still can move quickly if you needed to. Not that I would want to do intervals or anything like that in it, but like the Nimbus 25 has a little bit more. It's like I think it only likes easy pace, Elizabeth D. Molina says, I've tried a number of carbon plated shoes and they all hurt the bottom of my feet. Does this happen to others or is this something you just deal with? I mean, it could be just that it's not agreeing with your foot strike. I know Fueled by Lols, Holly, she talks about that. Like she just doesn't like carbon plated shoes. She's tried them. She's tried them all. She'll tell you the same thing. And she's like, I just don't like them. They don't work for me. And I'm okay with that. So that's certainly a possibility. But it might be you just haven't found the one for you. I'm trying to think, what is the softest of the carbon plated shoes? I would probably say it'd be the SC Elite. And maybe try that one if you haven't yet, because I feel like that one's got a really nice amount of squishiness to it. It could be the easiest on your feet, I think. All right, let's do a couple more, and then I got to get going for today. Kevin Bandy says, bring a smaller camera to hide for Boston in case they don't let you in with a stick. Yeah, that's what I used to do that for all my races. So that alligator clip that I have? I used to bring an alligator clip and the selfie stick, and if they didn't let me bring the selfie stick, the idea being I would just pitch the selfie stick and then have the alligator clip like tucked into my pants, the waistband, and then use the alligator clip. And when you're running with that, it's the size of a phone. It's smaller than a phone, smaller than a handheld. So it's like there's no safety concern there in terms of what I'm holding in my hand. Although I guess like if they're worried that I'm waving my hands around, I mean, there's valid reasons to make the rules that they've chosen to make. I know what those rules are. I'm aware of them. But, yeah, I don't feel great about it, ABP says, ran Carlsbad 5,000 yesterday. Oh, that's awesome. I do want to run that race. It's a very competitive race. Any plan to run it in the future? Um, I don't know. Like if it's the same weekend as like Cherry Blossom every year, hopefully I'll get invited to run that one again with Asics, like next year as well. Cause I do really like running that one. Um, but I mean, I love that part of the country, especially like Southern California in April. You kidding me? Of course I want to go. And the Carlsbad 5000 has like a nice downhill finish, has like a great elite field. I just feel like that'd be a really fun race. I would like to go to that one sometime. Hopefully, like one year, the dates will work out well. Jonathan Cox says, just sub recently, running in the Mountain to Beach Marathon in my new Vaporflies. You've been such a solid source of info in my prep. So thank you. Well, awesome. Well, good luck to you, Jonathan, in Mountain to Beach. Is that the one that's in Maine? Where is that one? What's the one in Maine? Or is that the one in California? I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know. Ibrahim Hussein says, have you tried the On Cloud Surfer yet? I haven't. And like, I always try to, that's one of the shoes where I'm like, that was what I was talking about earlier today, where I'm like, I need to film the B-roll of it so that I can go run in it because I want to start testing it out. And I always avoid watching other people's reviews and content about shoes so I can get a fresh read on a shoe by myself. But it's hard because like I still see like the titles of the videos and stuff and like or like the titles of articles and stuff that like go through my feeds because I'm on social all the time. And so I'm like, it seems to be getting good reviews. So, but we'll see. I think this is one where I'm going to do more than the normal amount of runs before I do a review on it because like the Cloud Stratus, like the last two On shoes I ran in, I enjoyed a lot at first. And then as time went on, I liked it less and less. So the Cloud Stratus, I was like, this is it. This is great. And then like 50 miles in, I was like, oh, I don't know. Cloud Monster, this is great. This is the best On yet. And then 50 miles in, I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I'm going to make sure I get past the initial, like, yes, finally On made a one that I really like. Because I initially have that feeling. And then I don't know. I mean, is that a double standard? Am I setting up a double standard for them then? Like, do they have to be extra, extra good for me to enjoy it? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm being hard on them. All right. Kenneth Fast says, Mike, I also don't like the Nova Blast, and the Kinvara has been my go-to shoe. Okay. That's good to know. All right. Okay. So I think I see. And Martha says, what's the difference between the Nimbus 25 and the Cumulus 25? Cumulus is lighter and lower stack. I think it's lighter. It is lower stack. The way the Cumulus and the Nimbus are set up is like, I think traditionally it's been like Cumulus and Nimbus are like a Ghost and Adrenaline at Brooks. Like the Adrenaline isn't a max cushion shoe, it's a premium daily, right? And so like previously the Nimbus hasn't exactly been a max cushion shoe. It's been considered a premium daily trainer. So like still a daily trainer, but like a little bit more of everything to make it just more plush and luxurious, I guess. But I think with the 25, it became a max cushion shoe and it runs like a max cushion shoe to me. And so now I feel like the Nimbus is clearly now what makes more sense to me and it kind of always should have been. The Nimbus is the max cushion and the Cumulus is the daily trainer. The Cumulus 24 I actually thought was really good. I've been wearing it around casually a lot lately. The guy at the UPS store sees me in it a lot of the time. I always remind him. He's like, what are those? Cumulus 25, the Asics Cumulus. But like I've been enjoying that one, but it's more of like an old school workhorse daily trainer, right? The Cumulus 24 I think is going to be I suspect is going to be a little bit of a departure from that, just like the Nimbus 25 was a departure. Did I say Cumulus 24? The latest Cumulus, the 25, is going to be a departure. Then just like the Nimbus 25 was a departure from what it's normally been. So I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like it's going to be like for people that the Nova Blast is just too much. It's too squishy, too unstable. I feel like you're going to get a lot of that same feeling in the Cumulus. So like I actually don't know from Asics what happens next from here. I don't usually get that update until I go to Falmouth in August. But like I feel like with the Nimbus, that becomes their max cushion shoe and stays there, and I think will absorb some other in that kind of max-ish kind of category of shoes. And then I think the Cumulus is going to maybe consolidate some of the line too. Both of them are intended, I think, to consolidate some of their line. I think they got too many shoes out there right now. But I think everyone always has too many shoes out there. But I think I'm really looking forward to the Cumulus because I like what they did with the Nimbus so much. So, and there's even less pure gel in the Cumulus than there is in the Nimbus. So like that's a plus for me. I'm hoping that the Cumulus feels more like a Nimbus Light. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I haven't read any views. I don't even have one yet. No one's briefed me on it either. I don't know why. Maybe I won't like it. Maybe that's why they're not giving it to me. I don't know. But we'll see whenever it comes in. Kevin Chan said the Diadora Nucleo may be the next Max Cushion Easy Day go-to. I've never tried a Diadora shoe before. I don't know. Is it time to try one? I'm not sure. Oh, Jonathan Cox says the mountains to beaches in Ventura, California. Oh, so I was as far off as I could possibly be. Zanik L3 says, "Hey, Kofi, we ever go back to do some more cycling? I'm looking to get back into it, but don't know what bike to get, etc., etc." I had a conversation about this at dinner the other day with Believe in the Run, and I was like, they were like, you like cycling, right? I'm like, I like Zwift more than I like riding a bike outside. I don't know how to change a tire. So if I had a flat, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I fall down all the time whenever I'm clipped into the pedals. And I always feel like I'm fighting a headwind. So I just don't like riding a bike outside. I would much rather ride a bike on the Zwift. I have like what do I have? I wanted the Wahoo Tickers or something like that. It's over there. That's why I looked over there. But I have like a Wahoo Ticker, and I like to put on Zwift on one screen and then watch Netflix or Disney Plus on the other. And that's why I just like that. I don't know why. It's just more enjoyable for me. So like I like the bike. I don't like riding it outside though. So do I like riding a bike? I'm not sure. But I think this summer I'll be doing a lot more cross training is my intention. So maybe I'll get outside. But I'll probably just leave it. It's on the trainer now. So, and not that it's hard to get off, but like it's on the trainer now. It's probably just going to stay in there. So I'll get back into it, but I like the bike that I have. I have a Specialized LA, ALLEZ, and it works for me. All right. I think that's going to be a good place to end it for today, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm going to try and get that Runners Weekend out as soon as I can. Whenever it comes out is when it comes out. And I think I'm going to take a rest day today because my legs are feeling a little bit beat up. I'm just feeling a little bit tired. And I'd rather not risk overexerting myself and potentially getting sick, especially with how like wet and cold I was all weekend. Rather than like getting in another, 6 to 10 miles on the day. So it's taper time for Boston. Got to protect the health. So yeah, I think I'll take a rest day. I'll work on that video. It'll come out when it comes out. Hopefully that'll be tonight. And then tomorrow we'll do another live stream. We'll unbox all those boxes I got. I got a lot of boxes to unbox. So we'll do that. And I'll see you then. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.